in a symbolic but significant meeting for both leaders. New China President Xi Jinping and U.S. Treasury Department Secretary Jacob Lew acknowledged they wouldn't be able to settle all diplomatic differences but said each country should continue to seek progress where possible. The remarks came as a number of issues have bubbled up in recent weeks that are further complicating the relationship between the U.S. and China. The meeting was the first for Mr. Xi in his new role, which he assumed on Thursday, as well as Mr. Lew's first meeting with a foreign leader as Treasury Secretary. Mr. Lew, on his first trip overseas since taking on his new post last month, will continue his meetings with China's power elite Wednesday, when he is scheduled to meet separately with Premier Li Keqiang and Central Bank Gov. Zhou Ziaquan. On Tuesday, Mr. Xi told Mr. Lew that the countries would unavoidably continue to have differences but said they could be minimized if Washington officials approached the relationship in a strategic and long-term way. Mr. Lew congratulated Mr. Xi on his new position while at the same time prodding China on familiar issues, such as reducing trade barriers to U.S. investment. Mr. Lew later dined with Finance Minister Liu Jiawei. The U.S. official said after the meeting that Mr. Lew raised issues about the exchange rate, cybersecurity, intellectual property and North Korea. They also discussed the global economy and the economic situation in Cyprus, the official said. The China relationship is a particularly touchy one for U.S. officials, as the countries have a number of differences including on Iran sanctions and currency valuation that fall into Mr. Lew's jurisdiction. In the China-U.S. relationship, we have enormous shared interests. And of course unavoidably we have some differences, Mr. Xi said, sitting beside Mr. Lew in front of a giant portrait of snow-capped mountains. He added, during a portion of the meeting that was open to the media, that I believe that we will always be able to set the direction of this relationship moving forward to the benefit of the people of both countries. The 45-minute gathering, held at Beijing's Great Hall of the People, kicked off 2 days of meetings between Mr. Lew and Chinese officials. The meeting serves as a test for Mr. Lew, well known in Washington for his domestic budget expertise but less so for his foreign policy chops. He brought notes to the meeting but didn't appear to look at them when he was speaking. Ambassador Garrett Locke and Treasury's Dale Brainard, two of the Obama administration's point people for China, sat alongside Mr. Lew, in addition to other senior aides. Mr. Xi, in his welcome remarks, noted how close Mr. Lew was to President Barack Obama and said the connection reflected on how important it was for both countries to continue working closely on often complex issues. Mr. Lew's comments could offer a window into his approach with foreign leaders, as well as his current thinking on the U.S. economy. Mr. Lew remarked how the U.S. economy has experienced 14 quarters of continued economic growth, pointing to manufacturing, energy and the housing market. He also said the U.S. looks forward to China contributing more and more to global demand, the reference to China's efforts to ease away from its reliance on an export-driven economy. Mr. Lew also raised the thorny issue of protecting the intellectual property rights of U.S. businesses. But further comments couldn't be heard because U.S. reporters were hurried out of the room by Chinese officials despite protests from U.S. government officials standing in the back of the room. We need to work together to make sure that we're protecting the work of our innovators, Mr. Lew said as the brief commotion began.